guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in January. Now, I read 6 books in January. One of them I don't own, so I'm only holding up 5 today. But I'm ready to talk about it. I'm excited. I feel happy with myself because I know there's people that read like 20 books a month, but that's just not me. My lower end of a month is 4 books. 3 or 4 books. And when I'm pleased with myself, it's 5 and up. So I did 6. I feel good. I did something. I started the year off well, and I'm here for it. I also found a new favorite book of all time. And I know Hunger Games is like my thing, and it always will be, but I have found a new thing as well. And I made a whole video about it, so you'll definitely want to watch that before you watch this video. But hey, let's go ahead and get into the other books. So the first book that I read in 2021 is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I've been wanting to read this for a while because honestly, it's been hyped so much, and I just can't seem to resist a super hyped book. It just gets me intrigued, and I'm a little bitch for it. I just fall for it. I am so sorry, but honestly, I fall for it for books that do sound interesting to me, and I would pick them up anyways. And to hear all the praise about it, I'm just like, whoa, it bumps up on my list of books, I'm not gonna lie. So, been hearing about this one for a while. I listened to the audiobook as well as read from the ebook, so I did like both at the same time, and when I realized I was really loving it, I searched down a hardcover for it, and I was trying to find one that wasn't $1 million. I found one from the HarperCollins website for like $22, which is pretty good for an adult hardcover because this is an adult fantasy book. One of the prettiest books I freaking own. Literally the whole trilogy is gorgeous. I have not read the other 2 yet, but this one was a 4 out of 5 stars for me. And honestly, I think if I ever reread this book, which I definitely can see myself doing in the future, it might bump up to a 5 stars. And I think the 4 stars was definitely from the expectations I had, because this book, all I really knew about it was that it was a military academy training people to be soldiers. And the main character, this girl, she was from a really small town. She was like an orphan, and some people raised her, but they were really awful to her, and it was really her only way out was studying for this extremely difficult test that's like everything you could ever freaking need to know in this universe was on this test. So she studied for years and years till it was literally killing her, just so she would place number 1 on the test scores, so she would have a chance to go to this very prestigious military academy. And I really enjoyed her time like studying and going into this military academy. Her determination was something to behold. I literally forgot the character's name. What the frick? Why am I always doing this? Ren. I really loved Ren's character. Like, I just really admired like how she would go to any lengths to get out of the terrible situation she was in. She was just such a strong character, and I definitely really enjoyed her character. But I will say, you know, I probably could have easily researched this and found out that this book does not take place at this military academy the whole time. There's 3 parts in this book, and part 1 is really the military academy, and part 2 and 3 is a big war. And I do enjoy like war books and fantasy series, but I thought it was going to be the military academy the whole time, and I just loved that part so much of the book. So part 2 and 3 were a little bit underwhelming just because I thought we were going back to the school or something. Like, I was just always wanting to go back to part 1. And I think if I just adjusted my expectations and knew that this whole book was not the military school, I would have felt differently. I believe this is like loosely based on like Chinese culture, just everything about it, the shamanism, just the way the magic was. Like, it was just such a unique book, something so well written. The writing was beautifully done. Like, it's just a great book, like a really well done book, and really my expectations was the only thing that messed this up. I definitely think I will love this whole trilogy, and I'm actually doing a reading vlog of me binging the whole trilogy, so stay tuned for that. The next book I read was A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. Now, this is the 4th and final book in the Ember and the Ashes series, and I really enjoyed it. If you can't tell from the millions of tabs I have here, I did a whole binge reading series vlog for this series, completely spoiler free, so if you just want to see me freak out over a series for nearly an hour, I will link that in the cards for you, because it was a lot of fun to make, and I'm wanting to do that a lot. I want to binge series with y'all and just have fun like that. It was a great experience. This series is chaotic. I love the characters in this series so much. They really grab your heart and stomp on it because they have so many terrible things happen to them, so they make you fall in love with them, and then they make you have
pain because you see them in pain, which causes you pain,
and tears. The first book is all about this girl named Laya. She is, I guess, in this like fantasy setting. It kind of has a dystopian vibe as well, a little bit. She lives with her grandma and her grandpa and her brother, and one day these marshals from the Empire, because this Empire is big, bad, and evil, just like Star Wars. The Empire people come and kill her grandparents. It's within the first few pages, so it's not a spoiler. They kill her grandparents and steal her brother Darren, and he is going to be going to a terrible prison, and they just torture you there, and she ran away. So she feels so guilty because when he needed her most, even though he said to run away, she ran away. She feels like she could have done something to save him. She decides she can't just do nothing. Like, she has to do something to break Darren out of this prison somehow. So she decides to join forces with these rebels who she doesn't even know if she can trust. And they say they will help her break out her brother from this prison if she does something for them in return. So she becomes a spy at this military academy. Oh my god, another military academy. We have a theme here. So she is a spy for the commandant who runs the military academy. And the commandant is known for her vicious behavior. No spy slave has ever survived the situation that they want Laya to go in. They want to spy on the commandant and give information back to the rebels. No one has done this like freaking successfully. So Laya could so easily die in the most horrific way because that lady enjoys torture. I've never read about a more evil villain, and she's not even the main villain of the series. She's one of the villains, and I've never hated a character more. She is just one of the most disgusting freaking characters. But the whole series, you're just having questions about her, and you really wanted to learn more about the commandant because what an interesting character that woman is, even if she's so freaking evil. At this military academy, we also have another character, Elias. He's actually the commandant's son, and the commandant actually hates him. So him and his mother do not have a relationship at all. Like, they freaking hate each other. And Elias is trapped as a soldier. He is forced to be a soldier. If he ever freaking left, you know, he would die. They would just murder him. So he wants to leave so badly, and he sees how terribly people are treated by the Empire, but he can't leave. So Laya and Elias cross paths in this military academy, and you know, obviously some sort of rebellion freaking happens. It's a series. They don't like the situation they're in, so you know, things happen, crazy shit goes down. It's a 4-book series. It's so freaking delightful and painful. So painful, but so worth it, and I think you'll have a lot of fun reading this series too. Oh, I gave this book a 5 stars. I don't know if that was obvious or not. I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was one of my most anticipated books of the year. So excited it came out in January, so I could just go ahead and have a good time during the first month of 2021. And this is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. Now, this is Angie Thomas's 3rd book. It's supposed to be a prequel to The Hate U Give. And The Hate U Give is like her most well-known book. It's been on the bestseller list for like a year or two. It's been a long time. She is a super successful author. So happy for her. I met her twice, and I just love that woman. She's so freaking hilarious and like just legendary. Freaking awesome. So I was so excited for this one. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars, and that's like not a bad rating. I gave her other 2 books 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, her other 2 books were from a girl's point of view. I don't know if I just connect better with women. I don't even know what it was exactly that knocked the 1 star off. I just, you know, finishing the book, I just didn't get that full 5-star feeling. Though the story was impactful, it was beautiful, it was insanely important for so many people to read. So it has nothing to do with the actual content of the book. It just didn't give me that full 5 stars, you know, but it was still amazing. This book is about Maverick in his teenage years. And if you've read The Hate U Give, you know that Maverick is Star Carter's father, and Star is the main character of The Hate U Give. And we get a lot of freaking hints and details in The Hate U Give that Maverick has this past, especially with this guy named King. They might have been in a gang together in the past. There's definitely something there. They kind of really don't like each other in The Hate U Give. He is in this book, the other guy, King, and they do have a relationship, so we do get to dive in a little bit more with that. But the main point of this book is to see Maverick dealing with learning that he's a father at 17 years old. And obviously it wasn't on purpose, but you know, he's a man. Like, he has to become a man in this book and take care of his son. And it was really cool to see because we also saw a character named Lisa, who's Star's mother. So we really got to see the beginnings of Maverick Maverick and Lisa's relationship, and I thought they were super cute in The Hate U Give and The Hate U Give movie. So it was really cool to see like them as young people in this book. This will show so many young Black children, especially young Black men, that they can do anything. You know, like they should not let people tell them that they can't be who they want to be. Like they are strong and you can do whatever you freaking want to do. Don't let anyone stop you. So I feel like that's something Maverick has to deal with because he really doesn't feel like he has a future, especially after having a kid. Like he just doesn't even imagine him doing anything with his life. And we really see his journey of, you know, realizing, you know, I deserve to have a good life. It was just so impactful. Like, oh my God, I'm getting chills just talking about it. The next book I read was the new favorite book of all time. Like I am so obsessed with this book. Holy shit. It has rocked my freaking world. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. So I highly recommend you go watch my video review of this because I really go in depth for like 14 minutes about my freaking experience with this book. No spoilers, just absolute gushing and love. But if you want a very quick version, I will go over it for you. So this is a YA thriller, and I have no idea why I didn't realize before that I would be really into thriller books, because any like thriller type of movie or TV show I've always been really into. I also really love mysteries, like murder mysteries, like who did it, who murdered the bitch, you know, things like that. I love trying to figure things out. I love coming up with theories. Like I just love my brain working that way, just trying to figure something out like crazy. And this was a situation where I could not figure out the mystery in the end, and that was what was so satisfying, because one, this book had a plot twist like freaking every chapter, and it was really taking you for a whirlwind, but I also wasn't right in the end. Like I also had a shock at the end. So if this book wasn't shocking at the end, it would have taken a little bit away from the book. It was a fun ride either way, but the fact that it still got me and made me go, it was that much more satisfying. And I know I'm gonna love so many more books like this. I'm definitely like buying a million thrillers right now because I'm just so hyped. I've heard this is one of the best YA thrillers, because YA thrillers kind of have like a bad rep, and I totally get that because I just feel like the adult books have really made thrillers shine, and I'm definitely going to dive into those, but this really showed me how good thrillers can be. The basic premise of this book is this girl named Pippa. She is like 17, I think, and she is a senior in high school, and she's doing a school project, because we have like senior projects during your last year of high school. It's a big project you work on the whole year, and she decides her project is going to be on a murder that happened in her town 5 years ago. This boyfriend murdered this girlfriend 5 years ago, and then he committed suicide a few days later after the killing. But this is the thing. Pippa's not sure that that guy actually killed that girl. She just doesn't think that's what happened. After he committed suicide, once the police were questioning him, they just kind of instantly assumed that that guy was the killer and kind of closed the case. Like that was it. But her body was never found, and there's just evidence showing otherwise, that possibly he wasn't the killer. There's obviously evidence as well that he was the killer too. So it's a big mystery. This whole book, we're just having interviews and phone calls and shit with all different types of people in the town. Like anybody Pippa could think of, she's interviewing, and we're getting all these different stories from so many people around the town. It just constantly makes you think, like, did he kill her? Was it this person? You just have no idea the whole book. And Pippa also teams up with the younger brother of the guy that everyone thinks murdered this girl, and he has never really felt like his brother committed this murder either. I just thought it was beautifully freaking done. So smart. This author is so genius, and it's going to be a trilogy. The next book I read was actually another thriller, because I went to my used bookstore after reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, because I knew there was a whole freaking thriller section, and I need thrillers. That's the only thing I want to read right now. It's what I'm in the mood for. I read The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. I actually gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. So obviously not as good as A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I still really enjoyed my time reading this. Like I literally have only one tab, and honestly there's just some books that I'm just here for the ride and I don't really tab it, and this was definitely one of those. I was definitely really invested because I read this in 3 sittings over 3 days. So I wanted to know what was happening. It was another little bit of a mystery going on, and the whole point of this book is this woman named Anna, she has agoraphobia, and that is basically when you're just like scared of open spaces. So in her particular case, she is stuck in her house, and every time she tries to go outdoors, she has a panic attack, a very bad panic attack where she blacks out pretty much. I don't think this author has agoraphobia. He does have other mental health issues, and people say he did a lot of research for this, but you know, who knows if this is a well done portrayal other than someone with agoraphobia. So I'll definitely put that out there, but I do feel like it was heavily fully researched because it didn't feel like just a caricature, if I even said that word right. It felt like a lot of layers to the way she was feeling. She had a trauma that we were trying to figure out what it was, the whole book, and it might have caused her agoraphobic feelings. There is a bunch of things I guessed in this book. It was pretty easily guessed. The big twist, I didn't necessarily guess that one, but I didn't necessarily like it either. Like, I kind of didn't like the ending, but overall it was a fun ride, and that's all I really wanted at this point, but I couldn't give it more than a 3 stars. I just didn't wow me and give me that crazy amazing feeling that A Good Girl's Guide to Murder did. But I've heard really good things about this book, so I thought I'd pick it up, and I got it for $6, so it was worth the experience. So the final book that I read was Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. Now, I listened to this one on audiobook from my library, and I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I was enjoying it at first, but it is kind of a thicker book, and it is a Star Wars novel. It is set during the times of the original trilogy. We actually see like Luke, Han, and Leia mentioned several times. Leia actually appeared at one point. So that was cool. It was cool to see all the references to the original Star Wars trilogy. But honestly, I have such an unpopular opinion. Like, this is a really well-loved Star Wars book. And I read another Star Wars book by Claudia Gray a month or 2 ago, and I really enjoyed that one. So I don't know what happened with this one. This one was like heavily like more of a Romeo and Juliet romance. One character was on the Empire side and one character was more on the Rebels side. And they still had love for each other because they knew each other as kids, but honestly it just got a little bit unrealistic for me. I just thought they had such differing views on such a moral level that I just didn't even understand why they even liked each other anymore, because it was like life and death sort of shit. Like, why could they be okay with the fact that they disagreed on that shit? I don't know, because innocent people were dying. Like, that shit is something to take seriously. And the female character, the girl that was with the Empire, honestly I hated her. Oh shit, I just cussed. But I honestly cannot stand her. Her whole point was that she was brainwashed by the Empire, but girl, he figured it out. He used to be with the Empire. He figured it out pretty quickly. She had the same information presented to her. She could have easily realized how bad the Empire was. And I just don't think there's an excuse for all the terrible things she did. I have no idea why the male character liked her at all. I liked him. He wasn't my favorite. Like, I wasn't over here about to cry for him, but you know, he was fine.
But why the frick did he like her is what I'm saying. She was disgusting to me. Like, I really did not see an ounce of redemption.
I don't feel like we got anything out of this book. So yeah, so it definitely fell flat for me. Maybe if I read it physically, I would feel better, but honestly, I don't think I would. Like, I just don't think this book was for me. I am so sorry. A lot of people recommended it to me, and I'm so sorry I didn't like it. It just, for some reason, did not vibe with me. Those are the 6 books that I read in January. Let me know what you read in January. Have you read these books before? Did you like them? Did you agree with my thoughts on them? Did you disagree? Let me know everything you're feeling down below. If you finish this video, give me a freaking eyeglass emoji, if that's an emoji, because I'm obsessed with thrillers now, and it's like a mystery, okay? I want to know if you watched the whole video too, okay? Just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like it, comment down below. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Make sure to follow all my social medias, which are linked down below. And go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, which you should have already clicked. And goodbye.